Emil Reutter is a writer of poems and stories. Thus far, 18 collections of his poetry and fiction have been published, most recently, Until Next Time, Select Poems, 1990, that's a good year, to 2022. He can be found at his website, gereutter.wordpress.com/about. So come on up. Come on up, and we'll get you set up here with Cafe Improv, and welcome back for many, many a time. It's always a pleasure to have you back.
Oh, you wanted the music stand? You know, there's this thing I try to read, but, you know, sometimes I can't read. Ladies and gentlemen, we are extremely pleased to welcome back Emil Reutter.
So I had to dig back to find some poems that I haven't read here before. This is Diane and I's 10th appearance here. All the way back to March of 2013. And we've been very surprised that they've had us back. Broken shells and hope. Jagged rocks along shoreline, broken shells line the soft sand of the beach. Whip of northeastern winds breaks skin, not a blanket nor umbrella to be seen. Desolate, isolated seagulls rule the beach in winter. There is nothing as cold, and they pray. From the temples to the god of Abraham, Buddha dance to Krishna, the mosques pleading to Allah, and churches prostrate to saints. Babel rises from the dust of the earth, pleadings for food, peace, a soldier to come home. Voices blending as one rise into atmosphere. Prayers unanswered, there is nothing as cold, and they pray. Eyes of the old man jaded from time, heart weak and soft. Lines etched into his skin, no covering can hide him now. Surrounded yet isolated, he leaves alone. In death, there is nothing as cold, and they pray. Spring begins anew, a sun warms the beach. Child is born, skin soft, innocence void of the pain of life. Cycle starts anew, enters the world surrounded by love. Parents full of hopes and desires, and they pray. So we were just in Cape May last weekend, and you should keep Cape May and Wildwood in your thoughts tonight. They have a 5-foot wall of water heading their way. So there was a really major hurricane that hit there, and it wiped out half of South Cape May. It was a borough. And then it was followed by a nor'easter that took the rest of the town out. So that, where they tried to develop a meadow into a town, is now back to being a meadow. So you never know what's going to happen when the sea gets angry. So this one isn't too angry. Anybody here religious? Good. Saturday Night Sinners. Troubadours sing songs whose lyrics have long lost their meaning. Tina circles Dave on the dance floor as she eyes up Johnny at the bar, who chugs another beer, wondering where his wife is. The band sings Born to Run. Tina laughs, changes the lyric to Born to Jog or Walk Really Fast. Dave scores a blonde and leaves. Tina saddles up next to Johnny, listening to the Cheat on Me blues, waiting for him to take her where she wants to go. Sunday morning comes as Dave picks the tinted blue hair from his pillow. Johnny and his wife enter the church. Tina walks by and winks as Johnny notices the pastor eyeing up his wife. Dave runs in, sitting down, not noticing the blue-haired lady, till she places her hand on his knee, cringing, knowing he can't get away. And here they all sit, Saturday night sinners and Sunday morning forgiveness. I like to lean on stuff. So one of my first jobs when I was a kid, I went to work for a lawnmower man, And it was different than it is today. You know how they all have these trucks and stuff? This guy had a beat-up Ford 150 with some old lawnmowers and trash barrels, and he'd hire kids to cut grass with him. So I wrote this for him because I saw him later on in life. Lawnmower Man. It was my first job. Worked for this guy who had bulging biceps, huge forearms, had an old Ford 150 with 4 mowers, barrels in the bed. Pushing mowers for 12 hours on hot summer days, pushing those mowers over rich folks' lawn who watched from their window, called him by his trade name, Lawnmower Man. At the end of each day, when the final lawn was cut, he would hand the 4 of us a crisp $10 bill. I worked at the Lawnmower Man for a month. Pushed mower over wet and dry grass, loaded the barrels 20 lawns a day until I broke my big toe. He told me I was of no use anymore. Dropped me at a gas station, handed me a 5 and a dime, and told me to call my folks to pick me up. I rarely saw him cutting grass as he labored unnoticed by many, but over the years, I'd see him at his spot selling flowers, Easter's, Mother's Day, working 12-hour days, and when I spoke to him, he called me Broken Toe, asked how I was, wished me good luck, and handed me flowers for my mom. One Easter, I pulled up to his spot, Ford 150, parked, flowers on the ground, but he was not there. I asked where he was. They said he was gone, heart attack, shoveling someone else's snow. All these years, I only knew the man who gave me my first job as Lawnmower Man. And yes, he did call me Broken Toe. He never called me by my name. Car wash folks. They go unnoticed as part of the machine, although they would like to think not. Some come from discarded lives of prosperity, others from addiction, yet others have always been here. Their faces worn, creased as an old piece of leather left out in the rain. Their bodies take a beating, mopping, cleaning of tires and sides of cars until the car enters the tunnel, and on the other side, in the heat of summer or cold of winter, they wipe them down, one after another, for minimum wage and tips. Car wash folks of white, black, brown, yellow, of male, of female, they work this hard scrabble life always with the dream of moving on, getting ahead, work, scrub, wipe down, wait for the break that never comes. So Diane's disturbed by this poem, but I think it's beautiful. It's called Silk Strands of Early Morning. It is early morning, dew covers ground, and there in the painter's bush, glinting in the morning sun, a web of silk strands. Centered a spider, plays the strands as a master violinist. Pluck and pull, energy flows to and fro, rides the strands as its 8 legs dance. As the breeze gently rocks the web, the spider, head down, begins to move along the strands to a place where a bee struggles in silken web. Spider pierces bee, spins and spins until bee is encased in a silken coffin. Spider returns to the center, hangs head down until the silk strands vibrate. A brown butterfly, wings caught in silken strands as the spider dances, pierces, spins and spins. Butterfly encased in silken coffin, strands pulled tight as spider returns to center, hangs head down, awaits until strings vibrate once again. Master violinist rests in its web of beauty and death. So I added a couple.
Oh, please do.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. In the garden in May. It is a dreary day in May as rain has fallen for days, but today is a day to visit the garden under cloudy skies that do not drip. Squirrels scamper up the face of the dogwood that drops pink blossoms on the damp lawn. Around the old mimosa stump, peonies sprout from the soil. Stalks of tiger lilies, daylilies fill the bed as velvet blue flowers of irises bend and bow. Neat pinks and reds of azalea are joined by dazzling purple of rhododendron. Thick leaves of black-eyed Susan lift off mulch. Grand basil leaves of hosta unfold, and within prepare the racemes of white and violet. Full blossoms of red peek through thick leaves of camellia as roses bloom along the fence line where just below, bluebells sway silently in breeze. Just past the green of forsythian pots along the steps, snapdragons, geranium blooms in reds, pinks, whites, and yellows. Within the color of this beautiful display, those rascally squirrels dig in soil for bulbs of tulips. Robins pull worms from soaked lawn, never noticing the hawk gliding, hunting from above. So this is a poem for somebody, and it's called Patchwork Quilt. Pieces of our lives scattered as wind-swept leaves of orange, yellow, brown, and long ago storms, woven together in a patchwork quilt of those who choose to stay behind or long ago departed. Under full moon, stars of dark sky until break of dawn, of sunstreams, blue of sky, we rest under trees' canopy in quiet of Sunday morning. We share our joys, we share our loss, we share our stories, and we share our thoughts. Within this Sunday morning, we sing our poems of longing, we sing our poems of past, we sing our poems of love, and as sun reaches its summit in the sky, a chorus of songbirds sing with us. Memories are just memories, and dreams can sometimes be real. We search for rainbows in overcast sky. We find the last yellow rose before the frost. We watch a bud of conehead as it opens, geranium's final burst of color. We breathe in fragrance of mums. Withered leaves fall as rain upon us, as crisp air forecast early season flurries. With each exhale, we see our breath. With each glance, we see change as reflected in our lives, live from black and white to Kodachrome to panorama, and we know there are no retakes in life. And yet, we share our joys, we share our loss, we share our stories, and we share our thoughts. I hate when paper sticks together. It sucks. I'm trying not to curse this time because the last time I cursed and I made fun of somebody's name and they edited it. You didn't think I noticed, did you? It's all right. It was the right thing to do. In the overnight. It's in the overnight when the nocturnals travel about. Dull yellow streetlights linger above the alley as moths dart about it. Fog shrouds the ground below in a misty coat of soupy broth. Dumpsters full of last evening's meals from restaurants backing up to the alley are full of rodents, flies, and humans who look for something to eat from the discarded treasures. It is not a place animals willfully come, simply out of necessity. It's in the overnight they idle and park cars, hang in darkened doorways, wait for the drunks. And as the bars close, some wobble down sidewalk, others go home with strangers, and some sit in cars. Opportunists strike. They pull from cars, knock down on sidewalks, grab and run. It's in the overnight the red fox runs the park, chases a rabbit into its burrow, claws its way in and drags the rabbit out. Owl glides high above a roost of crows and poplar tree, spots the weakest on the edge, swoops in, talons penetrate, flies off. A possum leaves its lonely home, scurries about until it locates a mouse, makes haste, looks for another.